Oh, man.
Hey, old man on the mat crew. This is Tony Jones coming at you with another great episode of Old Man on the Mat, the original old man. I say this, I keep repeating myself until you guys know every day is a great day. Every day we wake up and take a breath is a good day. So when I wake up, pop my eyes open in the morning, I'm like, he's not done with me. So let's get this party started. Let's go, guys. And real quick, guys, remember, like and share. You can find us on all the platforms out there, the Apple, Spotify, the YouTube. We're on everything that's out there. And like and share. Leave some comments, good or bad. As I always say, I don't listen to the bad. I just ignore them. But if it's one good one, I'll run on it. All right. And guys, thanks for buying all our merch out there at oldmanonthemat.com. We have rash guards out there now. We have everything coming. I appreciate all the business, the love you guys have been giving me. But with that, guys, I'm excited about our guest today. And as you know, with our platform, we have different walks of life. We have guys that are part of, pickleball, tennis, martial arts, weightlifting. And I love that everybody's out there. But in the end of the day, we're all just trying to get better, trying to stay healthy, trying to stay active in our age bracket, right? So this guy, I'm really fired up. I was checking out his bio, and my gosh, I want to say by looking at his stuff, he's the man's man out there. So I'll tell you, he's a chiropractor. He's a chiropractor and a nutritionist. Been doing that for over 30 years. He's rugby. That's what I like. He did rugby. Oh my God, bodybuilding. He did it all. He's also he studies Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out there at Black Hills Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu out in South Dakota. Man, I am fired to pick this guy's brain. Guys, with that, I give you Dr. Connor. How you doing, brother?
Hey, brother. Thanks for hosting me. Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate you inviting me on to be a guest.
Man, when we talked a little bit, we didn't talk a little bit, I saw the messages in our emails. I'm like, I got to get this guy. I got to talk to this guy.
All right.
Because you're doing so much, or you've done so much. Tell me this. How, and I'm going to jump around a little bit. How'd you get into rugby?
Well, growing up playing all the sports, playing football and wrestled, and then as I experienced injuries, I ended up seeing a chiropractor. And the results I got changed my life such that I wanted to go to school and learn how to become a chiropractor so I could help others. And when I ended up at Life University in Marietta, Georgia, they had a nationally ranked rugby team. And I didn't know what rugby was, but I took a look and went out to watch them. And he's like, hey, you want to come out and play, try to learn the game? And I did. And that led me on about a 30-year journey and took me, I got to play in Ireland. I played in Scotland. I played all over.
Holy cow.
Yeah, I was on a scholarship that through grad school. And so wonderful experiences, met international players, had international roommates. And so just very eye-opening experience. And, obviously a challenging game.
A little bit.
with very, let's just say there's a lot of injuries in that sport as well, which kind of worked well with being, studying chiropractic, being a chiropractor, learning about the body's function and how to prepare it for hard physical sports and how to maintain it for some longevity in those sports.
Right. That's pretty cool, man. That is pretty cool.
So, there's a huge rugby community worldwide, and I still enjoy being a spectator. You play rugby, you play old boys, and so when I had thought about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I kind of just related it to rugby and like, well, rugby's hard. I get beat up doing that, so I'm thinking at least it's got a soft mat to land on. And
right.
I will kind of take the principles that I have done through that sport over the years and kind of see how they translate to being on the mat and being, an older jiu-jitsu practitioner.
Wow. Now coming from rugby, I know that, and I'm just fascinated by that because I'm looking at things you've done. You've done football, you did bodybuilding, and then wrestling and rugby. That's like almost an accumulation of all of that stuff. You just run around with no protection on other than a mouth guard and trying to run through somebody.
Yeah, basically what you do. I played rugby at about 200, 205. So I
Wow.
wasn't the biggest guy, I wasn't the smallest guy, but in rugby, there's usually a position for about every body type or body size. Some positions are for tall, for short, for fast, for big guys, kind of like football. Some
Yeah.
people are linemen, some people are running backs. Kind of moves around a little bit, but it was a great experience. A lot of some serious injuries too that sidelined me and trying to learn how to take what I had learned in school, being a chiropractor, being a nutritionist. How can I utilize what I've learned for my patients, but mainly for myself?
Right.
And
Right.
then as we have become the old man on the mat, uh,
Yep.
then we realize that certain aspects of our game are vitally important, and those being our pregame, our during our
Yeah.
game and our post game. Meaning what are
Right.
we doing to recover? Our recovery, and it's almost like I don't know, say a military action. They plan it, they prepare it, they have a report, then they uh, do the act, whatever the mission may be, and then they have an after action report. So maybe
Right.
when we're approaching um, our sport, we prepare for it. Then we how do we engage and leave some in the tank so we have some for the next time we go on the mat, and then how
Yeah.
do we recover from that? What is our active recovery and even our passive recovery? So I think that's the what I've been working on documenting with older jiu-jitsu practitioners since I've embarked on learning more about this very challenging mentally and physically, very challenging sport.
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot. And I can relate to what you're saying because you're coming or doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu now at my age, at our age, I should say. Man, it's harder to warm up in my mind, and especially the recovery part afterwards. Seems like I'm just dragging. So I know I'm missing a lot. And I think what you're doing out there is going to be brilliant for our I would say community, our age group. You know what I mean?
Yes, yes,
Now,
sir.
what would you suggest if you saw a guy like? What's your first thing you do? I know everybody's different. You can't write a prescription for a general prescription, but what would you think a person should do before they step on the mat? Let's say an older guy. What kind of stretches? What type of things should they do before they even step on the mat?
Well, okay, let me answer that question in kind of a roundabout way.
Okay,
Um, if that works for you, I'll kind of give you a long answer versus a short answer. So
I'll take it. You got for me.
so obviously, jujitsu involves our entire core. It involves
Right,
muscles that most people you're going to roll on. You're like, I didn't even know I had those muscles. They're so sore. So
right,
you need to have a foundation. So what are we going to do about health and longevity? What is our foundation? What is our approach daily? Okay, we need to have some practices. We need to be consistent with those practices. All the resources and all the data that are out there will point towards uh, lifting weights, right?
right.
Developing muscle, because as we age, we're going to lose muscle. We're going to
Hmm.
lose, what is it, 2 to 4% a year if we're not actively working to maintain.
Really, that
Yeah,
much?
especially if we hit 40, 45. It's those are 43 is kind of a mile marker of you really all of a sudden you're like, damn, I'm not young anymore. And then
Right.
the data shows that 63 is another mile marker. So many practices that people have modern day will say, living our life and our longevity and our health span. We want to be healthy in our older years. We want to be strong. We want to be physically able to do what we need to do, whether that's get up off the floor, cut the grass, dig up some weeds, go
Mm,
for a
mm.
walk, and as I've heard some people say, lift heavy shit. That's what
Okay, I like it.
you need to be lifting. So that's your foundation, but is not spend and you don't have to go to the gym. You can have some dumbbells at home. They're not that expensive. You can buy them at Walmart. You buy some 20s. I mine only go up to 60s at my home gym.
Okay.
And that's plenty of weight for me with a dumbbell. So having that foundation And I'm not talking about a bodybuilding or a powerlifting foundation. Just
Mhm.
so happens I kind of, I traveled that path as a young fella and
Wow.
competed in some bodybuilding contests, and and
Wow.
I even as a teenager, and I qualified for teenage nationals. Obviously, that was quite a
Holy
few years
cow.
ago, right?
Yeah,
To be
but a
the
good
old man on the
foundation. Oh my
mat,
gosh.
if you right. So, and that was just it was a fun experience. But I always enjoyed being in the gym. So that's
Okay.
always been my foundation, whether it came wintertime and you want to snowshoe or go elk hunting or you'd like to go snow skiing, whatever it may be, you got that foundation. So when I decided finally, after toying with the idea for a few years about jujitsu and just thinking I was too old, and I have these injuries, I don't know if I can do it. Listening to some podcasts that are out there, there's wonderful resources, and just finally hearing, one day, you're not too old. You guys, you need to do this. This is wonderful challenge for you as you get older because you can go at your level, your pace. And
Right, right.
one day on a Jocko podcast, he mentioned something of that nature, and I'm like, it clicked. I'm going. And that's what led me to our gym is called Black Hills Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and it's in Rapid City, South Dakota. Professor Jeremy Schuneman is our professor and runs the gym, and it's a great facility. Great teammates, great guys that I've really enjoyed getting to know and being around. But when
Mhm.
you're an older guy, your first step is just stepping through the door because it's scary, right? This is,
Right. Oh yeah, absolutely.
people in general, we generally don't like to do hard things, things we're not good at, and we definitely
Mhm.
don't like to do these hard things in front of other people because we're embarrassed,
Exactly.
right? Nobody wants to look
Yep.
like an idiot. So just walking ththrough that door, and what I found was the community there was very welcoming. They didn't say you're too old. They didn't say, oh, you're too late to start. They were like, okay, when do you start? When do you okay? Here's a loaner gi. We'll let you loan a gi as long as you need to.
Wow.
Come on in, and we welcome everybody, like you mentioned earlier on your podcast, all walks of life.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool is that common bond in jiu-jitsu and rolling on the mats. You're with such a broad spectrum of people, of citizens. We have military guys here from the Air Force.
Yeah.
We have students, just we have a broad variety of practitioners at our gym, which is fun getting
That's
to know
cool.
different people, right? So,
That's very cool.
so yeah, when I approached it, okay, I just went and watched the first time, and I said, okay, I'm going to need to really, really amplify, a couple of aspects and it's my, pregame. How do I go
Mhm.
into this? How do I do it? And how do I find my limits, my flexibility, right? My
Right.
shooting,
Oh yeah.
right? And then how do I recover actively and passively? And I don't know which one's the most important because they're all three so important, right?
Ah, okay.
Right. I mean, doesn't
Ah.
as we get older, doesn't that um, come into play in everything we do? Like I
Oh,
tell people,
absolutely.
I tell people in my office, stretch before you cut the grass. If you're
Mm.
going to lift something heavy at your house, you're going to lift some bags of mulch or whatever. Put on a weight belt if you need to. Just do some things
Yeah.
to prepare. So my jujitsu. Um, when I roll, I went to class Monday. I went to class last night, Tuesday, and I like to be at class. I'll say 30 minutes is a minimum. 45 minutes is more like it. Just
Okay.
to ease into it, to go through some stretches, and really just go through movements, get my heart rate up, get my core engaged. There's a couple of guys you may know of. Art of Skill, which is Professor
Oh yeah.
Russ. Yeah, he's
Yep. Yep.
60-year-old black belt. I really like watching his movements. and art of, there's another one called Jiu-Jitsu Flow on YouTube.
Okay.
And this guy has really good flowing movements to warm up, little jiu-jitsu workouts you can do 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I've found those to be really helpful. And so
Yeah.
I take some of those guys, some of their information, and I go on the mat and I'll go upstairs and then, get on the mat when the kids are in class, kind of over in the corner, and just stretch and work on.
Okay.
I
Okay.
always notice that I'm there the earliest for the adult class in stretching and warming up, but that's okay. I don't compare my warm ups to anyone else's.
Right.
It's my business, and if I want to be um, prepared when I get on the mat. And so
Right.
then when we go through class, um, drilling is one thing, and we know we don't generally drill at 100%, so
Right.
that's okay. And then when we go to live rounds afterwards, or when we have an open mat, I also learned from Professor Rick Ellis on his art of skill is uh, something contra. It didn't make sense to your brain when you think back to how you played all your sports. Your coaches would use the terminology, leave it on the field, leave
Leave it on the field. Yeah.
everything
Oh
you
yeah.
got, give it
Oh yeah.
everything, come off there just wiped out, knowing you got
Right.
it all. Well, he says, as an older practitioner, and by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but I'm 57 and I'm a one stripe white belt. So
That's awesome, man. That is awesome.
I started in January. It's almost September. You know,
That's cool.
first stripe around May or June, something like that, and it was.
But that you being so new in the sport, listening to you talk, that's what you need. You're not a guy who's been around for years trying. You're telling what you're doing right away at your age. I'm stretching. I'm doing this. I'm going 30 minutes early. I'm doing this. That's pretty cool, man.
Well, if we want to open this up to guys, because there's so many guys, like, say, in my age group, which we'll just say, as men, we have a primal hunger to defend, protect, right?
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
our instinct. And in doing in practicing jujitsu, you learn these better ways. You make yourself harder to kill.
Yeah. There you go.
That's what hard to
That's
harder to
right.
kill is generally better to have around. But engage in hard activities. And Dr. Andrew Huberman just had mentioned this. A part of your brain that basically kind of fires or gets just information when you do hard things. It's
Yeah.
it's very rewarding, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have to
Big
get
time.
it done, and I mean, little things that we do too. But if you constantly engage in hard things, and jujitsu is hard, and what I found at times, you're like you mentioned earlier, your face is scraped up, you got a gi burn on
Hmm.
your neck, my
Yep.
face is all raw because I'm putting it the wrong place. you know,
Yep.
uh,
But you're proud of those scrapes and bruises, man.
yeah, and then I realized, I'm like, man, I missed mixing it up because I last played rugby at 50, over 50.
Wow. Wait, whoa, whoa. At 50?
Right? Yeah, you,
Holy cow.
you
Rugby at 50.
in rugby, you go up to 35 and play old boys, in 45s, then 50s. And so, but it's great because it's great competition and it's full speed. However, you don't do it every day. You do it at some tournaments in the summer. And so, jujitsu, you can do, on a regular basis,
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
in your local gym. And I realized that I missed mixing it up. I liked it. I enjoyed it, sweating, being wore out, and then being sore. I like when you get up and you're like, oh my God, my right shoulder
Yeah.
sore, my left knee's sore. Not like I went to the gym and both biceps are sore. It's a
Right. Right.
controlled, erratic soreness getting out of bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn it. I mean, I missed this. Evidently,
Yeah.
I must like doing hard things. It seems like there's plenty of guys that do harder things than me, but I must enjoy it some way. And then, primally speaking, like I mentioned, in doing these hard things, they're very rewarding.
Yeah.
And,
Absolutely.
we, building or doing jujitsu is you build your confidence, and just, the fact that I can get down on the ground and get up, you know.
Yeah.
That,
Yeah.
you know,
Without making the noises.
yeah. And not that I didn't before, because, you know,
Yeah.
I was always, I mean, I've always been, I'm a easily my entire adult life 5 days a week at the gym, and that's
Wow.
never,
That's
I've never
cool.
missed. But it's a little bit different because being a chiropractor and a nutritionist, it's kind of my job is my lifestyle.
Right.
So
Right.
I,
That's what you mean. Yeah.
yeah, I'm constantly in the gym experimenting and trying different things. And now with this world of podcasting, there's so much great information from podcasts,
Oh,
just like your own and
a
all
ton.
the practitioners that you have on. And I feel my any vacant time in my day, I have a podcast going.
That's pretty cool.
Nonstop. I mean, I'm
Wow.
mostly into, I'll just say, cellular physiology, biomechanics. So I love podcasts about the human body and
Okay.
longevity. And so, you know, when we step foot on the mat, if we have built a foundation, we've built it through exercise, and you know, and nutrition is a valuable component, right? So
Oh, absolutely.
I feel that eating along more of a keto style, just keeping that processed food, keeping those complex carbohydrates to a minimum, or in my
Mm-hmm.
case, just zero. Like I can,
Okay.
you know, if you have discipline and you're hungry, you can hold off as opposed to going to McDonald's until you get,
Right.
you know,
Right. Right.
or
Yeah.
go to the grocery store and get some tuna or some turkey meat or whatever, right?
Right.
Um, so you know, and then I'm a firm believer in taking supplements. I take
Mhm.
quite a few supplements. I take many of the basics that folks have heard of, and then some different ones, whether they be to improve my immune system, improve my energy, improve my mitochondrial function, my cellular function,
Yeah.
everything. You know, I just, and then you know, one way to monitor that is do your labs, do your blood work.
Oh, okay. How often do you do blood work?
Generally, it seems like about twice a year.
Okay, that's not bad. Yeah,
Yeah,
twice
some
a year. Yeah.
people like Dr. Paul Saladino, they like to do them every 90 days, but you know, I have one coming up, and I did one in I think April, and I got one coming up in about 30 days. I'll do another one. Uh,
Okay.
so I like to, for my own um, information, I like to know where I stand. I mean, I want to know what my omega 3 to 6 ratio is. I want to know what my vitamin D levels are. I want to know
Right.
CRP, my reactive protein is. This talks about inflammation, my HDL to triglyceride ratios. And these are things
Yeah.
that I really dig into in depth. And then that gives you a solid foundation, a solid structure from a cellular level that when I felt after going to jiu-jitsu, going to the gym, okay, I can do this. You
Hmm.
know, I
Yeah.
can do this without, you know, causing myself, you know, some type of serious setback. Now, I'm not talking about going live roll against, you know, an upper belt that outweighs me. I've been weighing 174 for
Okay.
a while.
That's good weight. Yeah.
So I'm not, you know, I'm a, you know, under 80 kilo guy. Um, so I've learned, you know, once again from Rick Ellis, don't roll with somebody 40, 50 pounds heavier than you know.
Okay.
And when I go live rounds, I usually ask my partner, I was like, hey, I'm about 75, 80%. Are you okay with that? Now, sometimes guys will say, hey, I'm getting ready for a comp, so
Hmm.
I'm going to pass. Understood.
Right.
Understood.
Yep.
I know
Yep.
you
Got
want
it.
100% rounds. Got you. You
Yeah.
don't need a 57-year-old one stripe white belt mafia.
Trying to get you ready for tournament.
Yeah, getting you ready. You're a 4 stripe blue belt.
Yeah.
You know, so I so I never go 100%. I generally, one of the white belts at our gym, he had said, white belts don't roll with white belts, roll with upper belts. And I'm
Okay.
like, okay. I mean, white belts, we don't know anything. We're just going to roll around.
Do nothing. Right.
But I also drew some inspiration from, I have two former classmates and rugby teammates. They're both chiropractors, one in Atlanta, one in Fort Lauderdale. They're both black belts.
Okay.
Jason's a black belt, and Sig is a 60-year-old 3-stripe black belt in in Fort
Nice.
Lauderdale. So, these guys kind of been after me for so long. Why don't you do this? And I was like, you guys are crazy, man. You're going to hurt. And then I'm like, Tony, how many guys and the girls come into my office, my chiropractic office over the years, and I practiced for 30 years in Colorado, northern Colorado, and Fort Collins, and I moved to Rapid City about 2 years ago. And
Yeah.
you know how many people come in with injuries, aches, pains, hurt themselves, arthritis from just working and just living life.
Doing simple things,
Simple
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Ton of them.
it's every day. And the things people tell me, like, I know they're not exaggerating. They're telling me the truth. They hurt themselves taking out the trash. It happens to us all.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Reaching in the couch for a cookie or something.
we might as well do something,
Right?
Okay, here's a funny example. So I ruptured my Achilles playing rugby, and I had to have surgery, and was out for a while. And I've had other people that we have the Achilles conversation, and
Yeah.
well, I ruptured mine walking to the mailbox, or I've heard some really
Oh, man.
crazy stories. I'm like, damn, I hope I'm not falling apart that bad, but.
Right. You want to have a story behind it,
Yeah, right. I was fighting like 4 guys, with a sword.
Say,
My sword
right.
broke, and uh, so
Saving a group of nuns at midnight by the train station,
so it's kind of our preparation, and then our mat time, and going back to what Rick Ellis had said, leave some in the tank. And for me, like, I did 2 rounds last night. On Monday, I just did 1 because I had somewhere to be. But after class, I might do a couple rounds. But I love going to open mat on Saturday morning. It's 9 to 11. And
Yeah.
the most I've done is, I think, 7 rounds.
Oh, not bad, man, at all. That's pretty good.
I'm like 5 to 7, but I wake up, I'm fresh. And I warm up extra. I get up and just start warming up here at my house in my home gym, and then carry it over to the gym, and I'm fresh. And I might roll 2 rounds and set 1 out, then roll 1, maybe set 1 or 2 out, roll
Yeah.
1.
Yeah.
And then I leave and I'm exhilarated. I have energy. I go through the day, but you know how it is. That night, what 8, 9 o'clock, and you sleep great, don't you?
You sleep like a fat baby, man. I'll be like, out.
I need to just like a fat baby. Yeah. So I've learned that, and I just remember, leave some in the tank, because going back to what he had said is, you will learn from volume.
Okay.
And volume is time on the mats. And if you go in there 1 day a week and you go so hard and you explode, you're whipped the rest of the week and you don't get back. I'd rather be in the gym 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And be there, in a position where I can learn and still, have time on the mat. So
Right.
when I, and then, so that's kind of like how I prepare, kind of how you go about it, and then your recovery. So some of my active recovery is also, just like my preparation in obviously stretching, but I have here in my gym at home, and I have a near infrared sauna.
Oh, nice.
I have red light therapy, near infrared and infrared light panels, and I have a power plate vibration platform. So I don't know if you guys have heard of those, or if anybody.
No, I have not. I just vibration. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a vibration platform, and Power Plate is a company, and you will find commercial power plate units will be in many of the NFL, NHL. I think they're in almost every NHL locker room. So they're really, really good for A, warming up, and B, recovery and active recovery. And it's making your muscles, it says you're making your muscles fire about 1,200 times every 30 seconds.
Oh, wow.
While
Okay.
you're standing on this platform, I'm standing in front of I have head to toe near infrared light therapy. So that's great for pain and inflammation. great for you. You'll see red light in day spas, medi spas. That's
Yeah.
really more for cosmetics. That's just kind
Yeah.
of real superficial. Works great for wrinkles. But when you have near infrared light, it's just a different wavelength on the spectrum, like 650 and then 950 nanometers. Not that matters, but it penetrates about 1.5 to 3 inches. So you're penetrating deep into the muscle, into the joint. So it stimulates the mitochondria
Okay.
to function, which that's what makes that's what basically makes cellular energy, ATP. So
Okay.
it's great for cellular respiration. And while you're on that power plate, you can stretch deep. I mean, I'll do one-legged stretches, work on balance, movement. You can even use it in many ways working out. I'll do plank,
Really?
side plank, right? You do side plank on that vibration platform, and it is so beneficial for you shoulder and elbow. And like this is funny. Last night at class, professor, we were working on arm bars, and then we were working on arm bar escapes, right? The hitchhiker
Right.
kind of
Yep.
went into it, right? Posting up, stacking up on a guy, getting your head against his leg. Like he kind of made it look like you're talking on the phone. Like he's like, my mom had the phone and she put it with her ear on her shoulder.
Yeah.
And then we started laughing. Like the guy says, yeah, my kid was asking, why was the phone plugged into the wall all the time? Was the battery bad?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, old school, man.
Yeah. So we were working on that, and he goes, now, okay, guys, be easy on your training partners. So nobody, you want to be taking a shower later, and then your elbows killing you from all the.
Right.
And so we're drilling, so we're taking it easy on each other, but nonetheless, all day today is like, God, my elbow is sore. Because my training partner is who was a captain in the military in the Air Force and a pilot, and he just kept hitting that one side the whole time. So
Just wearing it out.
my right elbow and my right wrist. So
Oh man, I know that. Trust me, I know what you're
right.
going through.
But I also learned from another blue belt in our gym who's a Russian guy, Alex. He kind of said, try to work both sides. Say for instance, you're drilling arm bars or triangles, try to work both sides. But realistically, he's he's in his 40s, and he's like, at guys our age, I mean, if we got one good side, work on it.
Right.
Yeah, you got a point. It's sure
Exactly.
good to be ambidextrous, but and be able to hit both sides. But if you got one, and maybe you have an old injury and you don't have the flexibility on the one side. I noticed that my back, my hips, I'm a little more flexible to one side versus the other.
Yep.
It just seems like that. So, but and when I do say from guard and work on an omoplato, I can spin around a little bit better from one side to the other.
We call doing it your ugly side.
Doing your ugly side.
Yeah.
That's yeah. Okay. So, but realistically, you should, if you're not good at it, you should work on your ugly side, right?
Yeah, you should, big time.
Yeah. So we have been, when I leave the gym and come home and work on that active recovery, I mean, the first thing I do, walk in, throw my gi in the wash machine, take a shower, go right down and do some of that active recovery. And
that's cool.
Okay. I don't find myself being as sore going back to that. Now that power plate, I have like their top level home unit,
Yeah, because I'm looking at it now. When you mentioned, I went to Google and pulled it up while you were talking about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that before, but I've never touched it before. I know what you're talking about. Okay.
Did you go to Power Plate's website?
Here, I'm looking at, I just Googled it. Here we go. I'm going to go to Power Plate right here.
Yeah, because
they have a $700 discount too. Buy one. There we go.
So it's about $2,700?
Yeah.
That's their top. So that's the one I got.
Okay.
The red one. It's amazing, Tony. Amazing.
Really?
You can do so much stretching and get in some deep stretching, but it makes those ligaments fire too. Ligaments, attach bone to bone, tendons attach muscle to bone. So really, when
Right.
ligaments are working, is in more of a passive range of motion, where that's just somebody else doing it for you. So it's kind of hard to get those ligaments to fire, get them to heal when you want them to, being that they most
Right.
respond to passive motion. So you're kind of making them do that with that power plate. So it's a
Ah,
great
okay.
piece of equipment to have in your home gym. I know it's, kind of spendy, not everybody, but a lot of gyms, and not a lot of gyms, some gyms have them. Some gyms, for example, have red light beds, but when you do it
Yeah.
for
Yeah, I've seen those.
investigation, you'll find out that it's infrared, not near infrared. So it's more of the
Okay.
cosmetic, which of course, a full size bed, it's going to be $120,000.
Oh, whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
So, you're going to find a lot of those at home.
Yeah, right? Right.
So, another thing I like to do and bring into this is my prep and during something I left out is electrolytes. The
Okay.
important. Now, I take magnesium and potassium daily as part of my supplement.
Do you do it in powder or just supplement
I
form?
just take
I mean, pill. Okay.
just a capsule, right? Companies I probably use a lot of. I use Pure Encapsulations, Douglas Labs, Standard Process, or my main companies. NutraWest is another one, but those are my main ones. And I use
Okay.
Element, which is Rob Wolf's company, who was a PhD researcher. I love listening to his podcast. He's a jiu-jitsu
Okay.
practitioner, lives up in. He just moved. I think he's in Montana. He was in Kalispell. Now he's in Butte or
Okay.
Bozeman. I can't remember. His company is called LMNT. You may have heard of them.
LMN. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen the shirts too. Yeah.
They're gaining in popularity. Put one of those in your water bottle, and it's just sodium, potassium, magnesium. I mean, I will, every morning when I have creatine, I throw in sea salt in my creatine as well, which is just minerals. So
Yep.
that's a
Body needs it.
supplement that really, really helps. Not only.
Well, let me ask you this real quick on the creatine. You brought that up, and I see a lot of that's supposed to be the most studied supplement out there, apparently.
Agree.
From what they're saying. Now I've tried it like this. I tried it for a short period of time. I didn't try a whole lot because I take a lot of supplements. Also, I take pop a lot of pills in the morning, all these different ones like yourself.
Yes, sir.
But I wanted to try the creatine, and so I did that, and I found I was feeling bloated a little bit, like I was swole.
Okay.
Is that or that was something else?
No, it can be creatine. Okay.
Okay.
I have. If you go through kind of what's considered standard protocol, you load on it. You might do 10 or 20 grams for, you might do them for 3 or 5 days or a week or two. And then you back off to about 5 grams a day. That's the scoop that comes in most products.
Yeah.
And I find that in doing that, I'm like you. You kind of feel bloated. You feel puffy. You're really strong in the gym, but you kind of cramp. That's been my experience. So I did not do any loading, and I take half the dose, which is about 2.5, 3 grams, as opposed to 5. So I just got a smaller scoop that's about half that, and I do half.
Okay.
Like you mentioned, with the data that are out there on creatine, not only is it great for muscle, but it's great for cognitive function as well, including if you've had TBIs in the past or concussions from the mat or from your sports or from falls or in my case rugby.
Run into walls.
Soccer,
body walls.
So it's really great for cognitive function and also preventative. So if you are saturated with that creatine and you have a head injury, you recover quicker. Is there a lot of data that show? Yes, it's kind of a preventative, but so you might try it again, but I might suggest don't load, don't take 5 or 10 grams or 20 grams, for a few days. Just take 2.5, take half a scoop and put that in your water in the morning. And, you'll notice a little strength. You'll notice a little pump when you're in the gym.
Okay.
And, when I get done rolling, I mean, I'm sure everybody is, man, you're pumped.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Or, like Arnold Schwarzenegger call it the pump, the tight blood, just the feeling of the muscle. It's better than sex.
There you go. I don't know about that, but yeah.
That's an oldie. That old movie with Arnold.
That's awesome.
Right. So you got to be an old man on the mat to make
That's right.
iron, right?
Appreciate that, man.
And telephones that are attached to the constant.
Oh my gosh. The kids would never know. They will never understand the struggle we went through, man. With those phones, man.
But the oh yeah. You're like trying to go in the I would always go in my laundry room and close the doors, have some privacy off the kitchen.
With that long cord running through there.
Long cord. Yeah.
Oh yeah, brother.
But
oh man,
we, guys in my age group are, grew up more, a little more independent.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Our parents taught us hard lessons, gave us confidence to go out and do things, gave us some trust, and then reeled us in when we abused that trust, which I always did.
Yep.
Got in trouble.
Yep, same here. I stayed in trouble.
Went at it again, but you had some confidence, and it's a little different raising kids nowadays, and than the kids that we were feral kids, basically.
Oh man, don't leave the house. Don't answer the door for anyone. Here's your key, and guess what we did when we got home from school? We left the house, answered the door for all our friends and everything else.
Had the key around your neck.
Yep, latchkey kids, man.
Oh, I totally do. Woods all around my house in Georgia.
Oh,
having fun and playing. We played all kinds of sports, just out in the yards.
Yeah.
Just pickup games, and those carry on to more organized sports, and from myself, and from taking my my baseball and my football and stuff, and then taking it into wrestling and into rugby and then to jiu-jitsu. I've always liked, I guess, the team aspect. I like sitting around, cutting up, making jokes, and I've always kind of been one of the guys. It's like during your sports, even when we're intense and it's focused, I'll crack a joke.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah. I'm going to have some fun. If somebody does something dumb, and I hear that military guys do that a lot too. It's hard time. So we're constantly cracking jokes when we're on the mat. And my most recent training partner that I've been working with, that I really just admire and respect. He's a young man, and he just turned 18 and just left for the military.
Oh, wow.
He's in basic training right now. We sent him off about 2 or 3 weeks ago. He's down in South Carolina in the Army National Guard basic training. And the joke was, we always trained together. I'm 57. He was 17. So we had the youngest guy in the adult class and the oldest guy.
That's great, man.
And where else would you find such an age gap? Working out.
You don't.
And having fun. And he was. So that's part of the camaraderie and the team approach. And we've gotten, like, at our gym, we'll get together and watch some fights. I recently, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners, watched the Craig Jones Invitational.
Oh, that was phenomenal, man, wasn't it?
Amazing.
Woo! It showed me how much I do not know.
So exciting to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing to see the energy in those guys and what. Oh.
And of course, so well, not of course, but I didn't tell you this. So, Black Hills Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is an Atos affiliate, and that's Andre Gavalho. And so we had 4 Atos competitors in the Craig Jones Invitational. And
whoa!
And your under 80 kilo winner, Cade Rotolo, from the Rotolo, he's from Atos.
He is. Oh my gosh, that's pretty good, man. Holy cow! So him and his brother are phenomenal, man. That Atos is awesome, man.
Yeah. We love watching them, man. And that's
cool.
Hackett match, that semifinal.
Oh, that was one of the most energized, exciting matches I've seen forever.
I mean, that was so much fun.
Wow. And I go back into class after it was all over, like, I could try all that stuff.
Yeah.
Not my old self. No way.
Like I mentioned, because he's at Atos, at Atos headquarters in San Diego. And so Andre will be out here. We have another Atos affiliate in Spearfish, South Dakota, which is about 45 minutes from Rapid City.
That's cool. Yeah.
And Andre is going to be here September 14th for a seminar for our 2 gyms. Yeah. So, I mean, we had a
Holy
15
cow.
time, world champion, IFBJJ world champion. And it's
Just coming in there to train with you guys.
Yes, I mean,
Oh,
because we're Atos gyms out here,
yeah.
so that's now when I first went there, I didn't know anything, and then I was
No, of course
like,
not. Yeah.
oh my gosh, man, we have some some serious practitioners in here, so it's a great place to learn, and I'm going to get to train and learn on Saturday morning from this 15-time world champion who just trained the Craig Jones Invitational under 80 kilo, champion. We had
Wow, man.
four guys in the tournament from our gym. Like that is just,
That's phenomenal, dude.
it,
That is phenomenal.
I know. I'm like, wow, man, I want to, I definitely want these guys for their.
That is so cool, man. Just that lineage there is just amazing, man. Amazing.
I really liked the way they approached it, as did many. And I think that what they did was just like the UFC. You got to make a consumer friendly product,
Right.
right?
Right.
And
Right.
so NCAA wrestling, I love to watch it when it's on. Especially love to watch the national championship. But
Yeah.
it has low viewership. I mean, who wants to watch wrestling, guys? It's like jujitsu on a mat. It's like
Just
out of bounds.
scooting around again.
Out of bounds.
Yep.
Was that 3 points or 2 points? Well, how do you score a point? Did he penny?
Right.
Oh, but
Oh, yeah.
this, that was exciting. So like UFC is exciting. Non boxing, it's boxing. It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. I used to love boxing back in the day until UFC came out, and it's like, okay.
We didn't know any better. We love that. It's one dimensional, whereas UFC now, being jiu-jitsu practitioners, I'm like, go to ground. And having a wrestling background and having zero boxing background. So
yeah, but wrestling, man, you guys are monsters, man. Wrestlers, I tell you, they are, in my opinion, when it comes to the combat sport, just because of the way you guys were trained, you guys have one of the highest energy levels, highest just that running through the wall. You know what I mean?
yeah,
When you guys got tired, there's always another level that you were taught to go to, and I just thought that was amazing, man.
and it's weird because you gotta unlearn it, even if it's been a long time since I wrestled. But
It's still there, huh?
like the first thing I want to do is shoot a single leg, and then first thing a good practitioner does is put me in a guillotine. I got put in so many guillotines. I'm like, how do I prevent it? What?
That's right. Put your head on the inside.
Yeah, oh, okay, let me work on this a little differently. But then you realize, in a wrestling match, you're just trying to go, like you said, go, go, go. And you just like, okay, I'm going to slow down here, focus on my breathing.
Yeah.
And then try to think a couple of steps ahead. And what's kind of
it's a chess match.
Very much so. But if you're only playing checkers, hurt at chess,
you get schooled.
you're going to get schooled. And I've had some upper belts. They all school me. Some of them,
yeah, absolutely.
Some of them will school me, and I'll kind of, they will school me in a painful way and give me no lesson. They, just basically, you whip the old guy's ass, who's a white belt. All right, good.
Yeah, he just needed somebody to beat up that day.
Yeah, you put me in fucking wrist locks, which I don't even know.
Oh, they got your wrist locks. That's horrible.
Which white belts ain't even doing wrist locks or ankle
right
or foot locks. So, but most of the time, I roll with an upper belt. I will get schooled, but I come away from it empowered and I've learned something.
Well, that's a good higher belt when they're able to teach you as they're beating you up, but they're teaching you along the way. They're not trying to hurt you or kill you, but hey, you shouldn't do this as they're moving through you. You know what I mean?
And
it's really cool.
Yes, it really is. And and I mean, anybody that's an upper belt has traveled that path, and you find training partners, and maybe some guys are just, their mentality is just a little bit more 100 miles. Some guys only know 100 miles an hour. That's one speed on the mat. And,
I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So,
but our age, that's when you sit back, and this is what I'm not ashamed to do. Is when if I see some guys who are just, and you don't see it a lot at our place, but some of those guys are just 100%. I know I can't keep up. I may get injured. I'm not gonna roll with that guy today. You know what I mean? I'm gonna go somewhere else and roll with somebody else. It's just about having that longevity that you were talking about.
Yes.
I want to be able to do my job the next day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that too, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, and you got a wrist lock and your wrist is sore for 3 weeks, and you're a chiropractor and you're trying to adjust.
Oh, geez, that'd be horrible.
But it does. We all use our wrists. I don't care if you're typing
Yeah.
a computer. You're swinging a hammer, turning a wrench. Everybody's hands are important in their livelihood.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. That's true.
So I've mostly had really good experiences. Couple, maybe it's like Tony. It's like dancing. You go out and you dance, and you just dance better with some girls than others, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I like that analogy. That's exactly right.
Right.
That's exactly right. You'll have the ones you enjoy dancing with, your favorite.
Yes, sir.
And then some you just like, I'll dance with this person because I have to.
Yeah. But I've also learned kind of in listening to some various podcasts, it's okay to say no. And, when you are the oldest guy on there, I have guys that ask me if I want to roll when we're doing rounds. So that's cool. So it's not, I'm not you don't want to be a burden or be, I guess you might say, cumbersome or, oh man, nobody wants to roll with that guy.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy.
Yeah,
exactly.
You want to be
exactly
somewhat competitive, and now it's and you know this, but when younger belts, when things click for you in a session, and I'm like, I know this guy, I know what he's doing right there. Do this. I know how to defend that.
Right.
That's like,
right.
Oh, that was so cool. Right.
It start coming together for you.
Yeah, I learned that in class, or even if I can identify, I know this choke's coming. Right.
Yeah.
If I don't defend that right there or prevent it, I'm going to prevent it, defend it, and then try to escape it.
There you go. There you go. Exactly.
If I can. So if I can, you start putting those hands up. I've had that cross collar choke so many times when I didn't know what I was doing. And now you get your hands up there and I'm like,
Like I say to the guys, I'm like, not today, Satan. Not today.
No. But we talked about with Professor Jeremy at our gym. We were just talking about, since, there's so many older practitioners, what if, just toyed around with the idea of doing an over 40 class or an over 50 class, and we've got a lot of over 50 guys in our gym. They're purple and brown belts. Okay. So they've been at it for a while. But we were talking about, even like during open mat on Saturday morning, having, I mentioned, how about an over 40 dad class?
Oh, wow. Okay.
How many dads are out there? They've kind of like, they see it from the sidelines and go, man, I would like to do that. I would like that. Or how many dads have you seen at your gym that they brought their kids and then they started?
There's a few of them at our gym like that started that way. It's cool. Exactly. Some of the moms too have started that way. Too.
Oh, we got them. Yeah. In the white belt mafia, we call ourselves
white belt mafia.
White belt mafia, and we got the mom squad in the white belt mafia. And,
I love it.
They all got stripes last week, so it was a.
Oh, that's awesome! Congratulations to those ladies. That's pretty cool, man.
Excited for them, and when I roll with them, they are. When you and we have a lot of ladies in our gym, and I've rolled a bunch of them, and they are very quick.
Yeah.
And they're a lot stronger than you would think.
Exactly.
Rolling with the ladies, and just like I'm talking about not getting beat up by upper belts, I don't ever let it come to a strength issue.
No, you can't with the ladies, unless it's some ladies at my gym where, they'll kill you. So it's a couple of them, but you have to fight them like dudes. But for the most part, there's some, when you roll with the lady, you're trying not to smash them into the mat. You're just doing technique wise. But some of them, you got to fight for your life, man.
I make it all about technique, but you're right. I mean, now, unless who you rolling with, Gabby Garcia.
right. Then in that case, you don't roll for the day.
Oh man! With her and Jones.
Oh yeah, that was great, man.
I mean, it was that was part great. Of fun. It was just part of the thing. So part of the event. But so we were just he was just kind of brainstorming or talking out loud. It's like, what do you think about, like an over 40 class or something like that? And I'm like, yeah, I think we could, reach a populace that is like me, that would
they
really,
would like something like that.
yeah, but they don't know how to go about it, or they're scared.
Yeah.
But how many?
Well, but I think that'll be fixed with the introduction when they come into it. Some of those new people that are older, and I think by somebody like yourself and the older guys that walk them through, and that's the important part about the team sport. You see a new guy coming in that's old. You're the old guy. You walk up to him and give them the ropes, the kind of thing, and hey, let's roll together, man. I'll show you how this is done. You know what I mean?
I did that yesterday. Last night at class, there's a new guy. I saw him once before, and I didn't get a chance to talk to him. Gray beard, gray hair, and
yeah,
I talked to him. And the professor walks by. He goes, "Oh, I see you two teenagers found one another." And
yeah.
so he had a background in judo years ago.
Oh yeah.
And he's in his early 50s. And so we went out on the mat, and I was just, showed him some things that we had been working on, like side control, because he's like, okay, in judo, we don't do the groundwork like y'all do. And,
yeah, it's totally different. Yeah.
And I said, well, as older jiu-jitsu players, one thing that I've picked up is more injuries occur from when you start in a standing position.
Well, oh yeah, absolutely. You're getting tossed on your head, your back. You're trying to stop the throw. You get an arm torque.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I told him, I'm like, I never start when I'm rolling up.
Okay.
Down. And that's just how I'm going to be. Now he goes, how about a tournament? And I'm like, well, I don't know, because I haven't done one. But and especially if you were a judo player, I ain't starting standing up with you, because I know what you're going to try to do.
That's right. You're going to be counting lights, as we call it.
And I'm going to be either trying to hip toss or a single leg. That's
yeah, there you go.
So I was like, let's start on the ground, and and so we did a few things, and I showed him, and it's really, you might, as a white belt, I heard Jocko say on one of his podcasts, at the 6-month mark, you'll know some things. Know some things. And now here I'm around the 9-month mark, and here I am showing a guy that doesn't know anything. I'm showing him a couple of things.
There you go. Yeah.
That means I have learned a few things, and
right.
Jiu-jitsu, I don't need to, tell you guys and many of your listeners that it's so challenging for you physically, and you love that, but it's so challenging for you mentally, because you're just, like you mentioned, chess. You're just thinking through this, thinking about your moves, thinking about your breath, and then when you leave, our professor said, have a journal, man, and write down some stuff. It'll help you to retain it. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. All right.
That's cool. Yeah.
And I just write kind of what we worked on and what we focused on in class, and some just.
Do you go back and follow through those and try the techniques, or just look at them and try to work on those things?
Look at them and just try to put together some of them. There's so many steps.
Yeah.
Like we're working on from side control, and I want to get the spinning arm bar and get us.
Okay.
Am I going to try to pin your arm down? Use my shin, kind of do windshield wiper, go over your head, and if I don't get the arm bar, go back to side control. Those sort of things.
Yeah.
Just kind of trying to remember those steps in your mind. And we were recently been doing a couple of times at class what you probably have heard of this, top bottom out, where you got.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it, and it reminded me of football drill. Right?
Okay.
Rugby drill, where you go and and it was like, and you get to work on positional sparring. And,
yep, positional sparring is great.
Because you end up, in my case, I end up inside control quite often. So I want to go ahead, put me there and let me work on some of the escapes.
Right.
And we were working on taking the back, and I was like, well, I know all about this position from the back, not the good side. So,
not the good side.
When they get that leg triangle around your abdomen. So,
oh my God, you mean the body? Oh, yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to bust. Like I'm going to bust. Like I sometimes I have to ask. I'm like, do guys tap from this? Because I think I'm gonna have to tap.
Yeah, some guys have tapped from that, man. Some guys have tapped from that, man. I've seen it. Not me. I'm too big around. I'm like, keep
Are
going.
you?
You just let me. You just let me break.
If I, there's a couple guys that are long legged and they know
Yeah.
leg day, and it seems like, and then like those purple belts, they jump around, neon belt. They
Oh my God,
they
worst.
love to untuck my gi and then try to choke me with it with the tail. And I'll say like, oh no, you leave my garment alone. I'm
Right.
tucked in, squared away. I quit untucking my stuff.
Right. Quit untucking my stuff, man. It took me a while to get this gi just right.
Yeah, and and getting the knot by getting my belt tied, and
That's
but
awesome, man.
do not choke me with my own garment.
That's like humiliating right
Is
there. It's
it?
like, no,
Or
no, you're not gonna choke with my belt, not today.
the gift wrap choke.
Oh yeah,
I've
it's like I'll take anything but
I've
those.
gotten that, and I'm like, I think I just tapped myself out. I just choked myself and tapped myself. Like, how did that happen? If that's not humiliating, I don't know what is.
No, you want to know something humiliating? This was maybe a month or so ago. I was rolling with this lady in the class, and she's a brown belt, so we're going going pretty good. And I'm in my mind, I'm feeling her arm. I'm like, yeah, I got her arm. So trying to do your chess game, right? And so when I went to make my big move to do an arm bar, I realized I was holding my own arm.
Did you?
Oh, I just let go and said, "That's my arm," and she's cracking up. And I'm just like, "Oh God." Oh, that was funny.
But doing things like that are part of that camaraderie. And when we look at there's a long running study. It's been running like 75 years, and it was taken over by another doctor on longevity. And
Mm.
one of the key components that they found was in a person's longevity is community, right?
Yes,
And
I
their
can believe that.
relationships. And
Yeah.
so, when you get out there and you say a guy like me, and you did some team sports and you did them for a long time as an adult, you really like them. And then you say you move to a new place. Well, I went to the gym, no big deal. And I met some dudes at the gym, pretty cool. And
Yeah.
come to find
Yeah.
some of them were jujitsu guys I didn't know until I went to the jujitsu gym. But you get a lot more camaraderie.
I
Um,
think so because when you do anything when a combat activity, I think,
yeah.
and it's like men get together, and, women too,
Yes. Yeah.
but you get you understand each other. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You see something different.
And in doing, bonds are forged in doing hard things.
Yeah.
And then now military to me would be, the hardest.
Yes. Oh
You're
my
in battle,
gosh, the hardest.
you're going to forge bonds that, and I listen to, some jujitsu practitioners from Jocko, Andy Stump, who is a SEAL. He
Hmm.
cleared hot
Yep.
podcasts, and they have a lot of jujitsu content. And of course, Rogan does too.
Yeah.
Guys being military, they talk about some of their stories and share that. And those are bonds. And I kind of look at bonds. I have bonds with rugby teammates of mine that I reach out to and visit with on the phone or email or computer, whatever, all across the world, really.
That's awesome, man. See, that's cool.
To the U.S., to Canada, Scotland, Ireland, and
Wow.
that's all from rugby. So that's cool. But jujitsu, you do hard things, and that forms bonds.
Yeah,
And,
I like that.
and just the bonds where, like, Hunter, my training partner that's in basic training right now, I did a little, hey, let's all go out to lunch on a Sunday. I'm like, Hunter, I'm going to take you to lunch and invited, anybody from the gym that's available, come meet us Sunday at noon. We're going to we'll go, farewell for Hunter.
Yeah.
There was another purple belt in our gym who is a PhD, and he graduated, moved to Virginia, and he had his gym sorted out, and they were just going on an adventure, him and his wife, and we had
Yeah.
a cookout for him at the gym. And I was relatively new, a few months, but they're like, yeah, you're invited. It's Friday afternoon. Come on out. And it was great to socialize with the people from the gym and laugh and talk about some things. And, and you're sharing that common bond, challenging. And like I mentioned, as you get older, there's organizations like Elks and Moose
Yeah.
and Eagles.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
ride a Harley, so there's Harley
Oh, nice.
clubs, so I ride quite a bit and camp. So those are community, but those are fun. But jiu-jitsu brings a different, just a different challenge to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so I feel that more guys my age, these guys, kids are raised, or kids are old enough to do their thing. Guys my age have grandkids, but guys looking to get back into something.
Yes. Yes.
Get back into something, and every guy, every old man, whether he's on the mat or not, wants to get in better shape.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't we?
Absolutely. Just most time we don't know what to do or where to start, or it's embarrassing to walk in the gym with your gut hanging all over and all that kind of stuff. And that's the shame of it all.
You don't know what to do at the gym. And I mean, hey,
yep,
trainer is a great way to go about it. Well, if you go to jiu-jitsu, you just hired a trainer, and
you just did. I like that.
Black belt is the equivalent of the PhD.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And as I've learned, I mean, I went to school for a total of about 8 years. And as I've learned, it's, roughly 10 years, journey to a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
That's just the number I've heard. I've heard some people did it a little quicker and some slower.
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah, it depends. But that's about average. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of community built in that, and you're learning from a PhD in this endeavor. But the cool thing is, it's not just something that I enjoy and I learned how to do it and so forth. It's something that I can carry back to be a protector of my place, my family, my people. Hopefully a skill that's never needed.
Yeah.
But if ever anything ever arises, you fall back, and I've heard this in some trainings I've done with some military personnel in firearms training, and I've done quite a bit in some extensive stuff. And they say,
I'm the same way with you. I love it, man. Yeah, firearms, perfect, man. Yeah.
We had a group, and it was run by some military guys and a former Navy SEAL, and we just did all kinds of really intense training. But it was great, whether it be handgun or carbine and moving and cover. And they said, you don't rise to the occasion, you fall to your lowest level of training.
Oh, wow. That's deep. I like that.
Right? You're like somebody.
That's right.
When you're like, oh, I'll bow up, boy, I'll get them. I'll pull out my knife. Stuff like, no, you won't do anything but except what your lowest level of training is. And if you know nothing, and I remember they were showing the statistics on physical attacks, and it was guys that just turned and turtled up, just effective. Hey, at least, as they say, get off the X, freaking run.
At least do something, move, do something. Yeah,
I mean, run, scream is at least trying to get create some distance.
Exactly.
So in jiu-jitsu, you're raising that level of training as it comes to just awareness, position, self-awareness, and then if anything ever were to come of it. Now, fortunately, the old man on the mat is not out. Once he gets off the mat, he's had enough.
He's had enough, right? I've had enough, man.
Right. And also, I don't know, the old man doesn't find himself out, kicking it at the club at 12:45.
No, not at all.
He you remember when you're a kid, like, nothing good happens after whatever, 11, 12, 1, heard it. And it's so true, isn't it?
It's the truth. Now we see it, but young, we were thinking there's got to be more excitement out there. We got to stay out there all night to party.
Oh yeah. Ugh. I remember, what was it? Richard Pryor had to, like, what you waiting on? He's like, I always had to come in by 11:30, and all my friends like, what you waiting on? We're waiting on 11:30. Oh yeah, we're gonna have some fun at 11:30. I said, wait,
11:30, it's gonna start.
Oh, you got to go home. Oh, you're gonna miss it. But
that's right.
And that's when alcohol kicks in. People do, more, stupid.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we've all done stupid things when we're younger, but and also going back to having the controlled aggression, although is maybe, I'm not talking about tournament, but I'm talking about training and even open mat. I don't even know that in my case, aggressive would even be a term that I have used or would use.
Okay.
I don't know if rolling is really aggressive. I like to think of it as calculated, calculated movements with bursts. And sometimes if I'm going slow, controlling my breathing, thinking about what position I'm in and what do I need to do to either, prevent it, defend it, or escape it. And
Right.
now of course I get really overwhelmed, right? I told you my left, right? The cat's out of the bag, right?
That's right.
But I mean, do I do that aggressively? Maybe no, because to me, more of aggressive would be in a serious self-preservation moment.
Yeah, I
Aggressive.
get that. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yep. Yep.
Where like nowhere have I come across anything where somebody's done something that would spark or initiate an aggressive return from me.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Right. So
Right.
it's very controlled in your movements, and if somebody gets me in a submission, and especially if I know it's coming and they're working on it, and I was rolling with one of the ladies last night, and she's an upper blue belt, and I really enjoy rolling with her, and she was working on she was on mount, and she was trying to isolate up my arm, getting it above my head, finger walking it, and I was like, I don't want to give it to her, and I was trying, and I was trying to, if I could get on my side, then hook one of her legs, either with my top leg or bottom leg, and kind of and then I could come back 180 and kind of get into a half guard. But she got me. I didn't want to.
You got that arm.
Yes, and she always, like we always say, choke your friends. And yeah,
that's right. That's exactly what Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is: choking your friends.
Yes, man. And so she always, always sneaky and gets me. But here I am rolling with these moms. Yep. All of them are moms, and and having a great time, not using strength, helping them to gain confidence and empower themselves on the mats, and and also gaining confidence that they could handle themselves against an attacker that was bigger than them.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's got to be, and then the kids, helping the kids with their self-confidence is,
martial arts is one of the best things for kids,
isn't it?
In their confidence, especially nowadays. And I just think, I look at the generations now. I always joke, I don't want to sound like I'm that old guy. Get off my lawn. But you see the kids nowadays, and it's just they're missing something. Yeah. So when I hear about a kid in martial arts, and no matter what the form is, I'm like, that's awesome. That kid's got a good start. That means he's going to work on his self-confidence. And he won't be as bullied, not because of the physical aspect, because his mind is set right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It builds their confidence and their mental strength. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, we just a local friend. We just had him come over and bring his son, who's 8, and now he's been in about 2 weeks now. And called him last night after class, and I'm like, "Show me what you've learned," And they were pulling guard, and so here I am. I'm rolling around with an 8-year-old.
Right? Yeah. Hey, that's okay.
Yeah. And doing it, and like he's showing me some things, and I'm like, man, you're getting good at it. Yes, I like it.
Yeah.
Here he is, like, okay, I'm wrestling with an adult. I'm grappling with this adult, but I'm doing my thing. So
his confidence is going through the roof every stage. And I tell you, that's so good, that confidence level for kids, man. We need that. We need more of that, man. And as we're sitting back looking backwards, and our generation was a little bit different, but now this generation is really, I don't want to say weaker. I just think that they're missing some things,
Yes, but we, at our gym, I will see, we have 2 big mats and then a smaller mat upstairs, and all 3 of those mats will be packed for kids' classes.
Oh, that's beautiful, man. That's awesome.
So that's, get some of the guys, some of the high schoolers, and they wrestle, and they go to, they love going to tournaments,
Oh, nice.
Kids tournaments, and then we were talking about tournaments, and, it's a couple of times, hey, you going to go to a tournament? And I'm like, well, the tournaments I've looked at, I would be Masters 6. There is absolutely 0 white belts in Masters 6, 5, or 4. So I'm Masters 3. So yeah, I want to go roll with 30-year-olds in a live.
Well, you know what I tell you? Go out there and experience it, man. This weekend is Master Worlds out in Vegas.
Right.
I went last year, and I didn't go this year with the team. And a lot of guys are out there, but I tell everyone, man, just get in a tournament, man. As long as your instructor says it's okay, go get in a tournament. The best thing you do is just get on the mat, and it's like you're testing yourself. So especially at your level, get in there, See what happens. You know what I mean? What's the worst thing you do? You tap? Okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Oh man, that's a new level of nervous. So,
I know it is,
oh
man, but I'm telling you,
man,
once you get the first one out the way, the first match out of the way, if you go further, even if you actually go further, you lose your first match, whatever it is, you beat your first match. That's okay. You'll have a sense of you and what you're capable of, good or bad, but you'll still have a sense of you better. And I tell you, just get on the mat and go do a tournament, brother. Next one, talk to your instructor, say, put me in somewhere.
put me in, coach. Well,
Put me in, coach.
hey, if you go and enter up Master 6 and there's no competitors except you, they'll give you a gold medal. So
Well, yeah,
you can come
you don't want it that way, but
for gold. And if that's the case, I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna wear it on the plane.
there you go.
I'm gonna wear that thing around the house.
I came in first, whipped everybody.
I mean, nobody even got a hand on me.
Right? That reminds me of a lady when I was in college. I went to Iowa State and I was on a judo team out there.
Oh man,
And
yeah.
it was a lady, Peggy, on our team. And Peggy was probably 4'1". She was a tiny little thing. And I think she was brown belt, but she was every tournament we went to, she just walked up in front and got her trophy because there was no one in her weight division or anything else. It was nobody. Every tournament she had like a 6-foot trophy. It was so crazy.
So she's got a trophy room.
She got the trophy every time. It was
Yeah,
great.
man. I'm an Iowa State fan, obviously wrestling fan.
Yes, sir. You know we got it.
Oh man, I mean, Iowa State and Penn State, Michigan, Minnesota. Those.
Yeah.
That's some serious wrestling country, right?
Oh, I mean, seriously. Like I said, I was on a judo team, and once a month, we'd train with the wrestlers.
Oh,
And oh my God, you mean getting tied up in knots and just that extra level they have is just insane.
yeah.
Wow.
You're talking about Bill
Man.
Sanderson and oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank. This famous Dan Gable.
Gable.
Yes.
Yeah. Man.
And not to mention, y'all's quarterback in the Super Bowl almost won it, Brock Purdy.
Almost. Right.
I was pulling for him, man. I liked him at Iowa State. I liked him. He's a good quarterback. I like y'all's coach. I'm a big college football fan, so
That's awesome, man. So you're the collegiate football, man. I keep wanting to go back and visit some of the guys and all that stuff, but I don't want to go back. Like I always tell everyone, I had an amazing time in college. I mean,
same,
wild, fun, amazing. But would I want to go back? No.
Well, same. And playing on a team, being involved in sports, that was always a big thing for me, a big part of it. People even talk about high school, and some people say I didn't have a great experience. I'm like, man, I played all the sports. I had a wonderful experience in high school. It was great.
Oh yeah.
And I carried that right over to college, and and then I can say that I, experiencing very similar, joys in belonging to a jiu-jitsu gym and being around gals that that push each other and in a controlled way. So,
it's helpful. It's great, man.
How often do you go to the gym?
I train 3 or 4 days a week. I go Mondays. I'm out at my other friend's gym. He's still a part of our gym, Lake County Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he has his own gym, Aces. So I go to his gym on Mondays, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I'm at Lake County. But yeah, I try to get 3 to 4 days a week on the mat, and it all hurts every day.
Getting 3 or 4 on the mat, and then 3 in the gym, so I can cover. I'll do chest buys, back tries, legs, shoulders, so I get all my body parts worked.
See, I need to do that. I need to act because I've been trying. You know what I mean? Because I get lost when it comes to that. Even though I did, some weightlifting before and all that stuff. And you know what? No, my problem is, I try to, because I know if I lift a certain days, and I know the pain will go away after a while. But if I lift this day, tomorrow and be sore. Lift this day, tomorrow and be sore doing rolling and all this other stuff. So this is why I think you can. What do you suggest for that? You know what I mean? If I'm lifting between those classes and stuff to eliminate. I know the soreness is going to happen, but you know what I mean. So I can still move and do all the things.
Well, if you're in the on the mats 4 days a week, I like to have a day off, although I don't always take one. So what if you hit it 2 days a week at the gym? And you could split up, I don't know how to do a 2-day split really, but you could
Yeah.
maybe do, whichever way you'd like to break it up. That's why I like a 3-day, because I can cover all my body parts. And let's just say this, you went in there and you're going to work on your 2 days of the gym. I'm going to do chest and bis one day, back and tris the next day. Well, the next time you go in the gym the following week, okay, I'm going to hit my legs and shoulders and then chest and bis. The next week, you pick up back and tris, legs and shoulders. So you're just rotating them, those work. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And that's, I always keep those 1, 2, 3. And if I do miss, I will rotate them through, and just pick up where I left off the last time. But I kind of been trying to do, so I've been in the gym. I'll hit it Mondays, and then I will hit Wednesday and Thursday in the gym, and then doing Monday, Tuesday, Friday class.
Okay.
And then,
so you try not to lift on the same days you go to class, go to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, I try not to. So I might work out on Sunday if but obviously if you're sore, it's going to be lighter.
Yeah.
But I'm trying not to. If I go to class on Thursday night, I'm late, so I'm only in class about 30 minutes because office. So I always work back and tris on Thursdays. Try to get, I'm a little late to class. So still, you got to. I mean, I know it's a great workout. It really is. It's not like you got to do it, but I've always done strength training. I've always been in the gym. I have been a member of a gym ever since I left high school.
Wow. See, that's good stuff, man.
Yeah. I mean, there's never been a day that I was not a member of a gym, and generally more than one.
Wow.
And, and over the last many decades, I've had, all my stuff at home, my gym, a sauna, some of the other therapies that I've mentioned. But I love to be, and I'll tell patients and people that I'm doing nutritional consults with, anything that I discuss with you or share with you or recommend for you, you can count on 2 things. I've researched it and I do it myself.
And I like it. Okay.
But and it's kind of like maybe, rolling with an upper belt. I know that they've worked on it, they've practiced it. This is what they find is a good way for it to work. If you're working this control, this submission, this escape, so I'm going to listen to that guy.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I'm going to take your advice though. I really am on that lifting stuff because I know I need to add that, and it's going to help me out all along the way. So I think I will do that. We'll start switching that up a little bit.
If I find that I like to do around the 12 rep range, whatever I'm doing, because I feel that is I minimize the risk of injury if I'm handling a weight that I can lift for 12 reps. You drop down and you do a bench press max or a squat max. I can lift a lot more weight, but then your shoulder. Then
shoulder hurt.
Then and the next day you're like, God, my shoulder is killing me. Why did I try to bench, this amount? So I like to keep those reps 10 or 12, because then you're still pushing some weight, but, and you don't even have to do, say if you do 6 sets per body part, say you go in there, 6 sets of chest, 6 sets of bicep curls, dumbbells and barbells, just vary them up a little bit, and then maybe if you're tight on time, you just did 4 sets or you're a little, I did 4 sets and you're going to be moving that lactic acid through the muscles. So that's going to help with soreness.
So your target is 6 sets. Because, you remember back in the day, they were like 3 sets or 2 sets, but you're doing 6.
Yeah. 6 sets for a body part, if I'm feeling really froggy and it's better, I like to do 8 or 10, but 6 has always just kind of been a minimum, and especially trying to fit in your jiu-jitsu workouts too. But that goes back to what I was mentioning earlier about leaving some in the tank.
And on those sets you're doing, you're not, because you're leaving some in your tank, you're not maxing out on the 6th set or anything like that. You're just climbing. Yeah,
I'm just knocking out another 12 reps and and sure, I leave a little in the tank. Well, that's been my practice because I've been a practicing chiropractor for 33 years, and So my office hours have pretty much been the same. And we usually take, 12 to 2:30, 12 to 3, somewhere around there for lunch. We usually take a little longer lunch, work in the morning, work in the afternoon, and I always go to the gym at lunch. So 12 o'clock, no meetings, nothing, walking out the door to the gym. So I've always left a little in the tank, because knowing in the afternoon, the physical aspect of adjusting people, just I wanted to save some in the tank for, to take care of my responsibilities to them. And so I could never just go in and just go crazy on a max, at lunchtime. And plus playing rugby, I, for so long, and we'd have training on Tuesdays and Thursdays and games on the weekends and tournaments, you had to have some left in the tank for that type of training as well. And, you didn't want to push too heavy a weight, and because you're cross training basically.
Okay. Yeah.
But at the age, jiu-jitsu is great, and you are lifting weights, right? You're
pushing bodies off you.
Totally. What's that one escape, the mechanics escape? It's kind of like a bench press.
And you're just throwing them across the room?
Yeah. Yeah. Although, what, once again, I mentioned, I'm usually about a 75, 80% or so. Unless we're doing that top bottom out, that positional sparring, and he says, okay, you hold the guy inside control or do something, I'll go 100% on that. But other than that, I'm always leaving a little bit in the tank. And another good thing to add to your jiu-jitsu, especially as you age, is just walking. Zone 2 cardio.
Walking. Okay. Yeah, I do a lot. I do a 5K almost 3 times a week.
Awesome.
Walk, run. It's like a fartlek sometime, where you run and block, walk a block, run a block.
Done it.
But I think I'm going to cut it back down to just walking, because my knees are hurting.
Yes, sir. And so, okay. So, and if you look at, guys like Dr. Peter Attia or Dr. Andrew Galpin, that's a PhD, will say that, you benefit in that zone 2 cardio. Will say you're walking and swinging your arms to the point where you and I could barely have a conversation. If we went any harder, we'd be like huffing and puffing. So, but we're not pounding the knees. And when you backswing your arms, you're contracting rear delts, you're contracting traps, rhomboids, triceps, and then you're making contralateral muscles fire on the other side to keep your balance. And that works on your posture. When the arm swings forward, you're contracting a little bit of chest and a little bit of bicep too. So you're getting an arm and shoulder workout in anterior delt that you don't get when you're running, because when you're running, you're balled up conserving energy generally. Look like they're scooting along about to fall forward.
Yeah.
Look at their build, though. Look at a runner and look at the muscle that he is destroying.
Okay.
Right?
Impact.
He's wasting away to nothing. You need muscle. Now look at a sprinter and look at his posture. He's pumping those arms.
Yeah.
Those arms form, and look at his body. So if you think about it, ancestrally speaking, which is how we should really think about living our lives to the best we can in a modern society, meaning that eat and move like we were designed ancestrally, or perhaps like our ancestors did. Our ancestors did not run long distance. They sprinted when they were in danger, whether it be a predator, 2-legged or 4-legged. They sprinted. They got to a place where they were in safety, or they could defend themselves. They didn't take off running. I think I'll run for 6 miles.
Right.
I mean, they got out of danger. And they ate. Sometimes when they had something really good, they ate a bunch of it. And if they didn't have anything, and they didn't eat. That kind of goes back to some of our preparation, which is our diet and exercise. Sometimes there's a lot of data that suggests some intermittent fasting, is a good way to go. And of course, we don't need to mention staying away from processed foods, which is about 75% of what you find in the grocery store is going to be processed, or ultra processed is a term that's used.
That's true.
And you got to stay away from these ingredients: high fructose corn syrup, GMOs, maltodextrin is found in everything. That's a blood sugar spiker. It'll spike your blood more than sugar itself. Not to mention grains, corn, wheat, and soy. These are back to the nutritional component, which the nutritional component is part of our preparation. right?
Okay.
When
Gotcha. Yeah.
you're eating good and you roll into training and you did it right that day, you feel good. You
Right.
you ate too close to training and you don't feel good. Or you don't
Exactly.
want to go in there
Exactly.
starving and depending on how long you're at it. But I still see people that try to out train bad diets.
Now you can never out train a bad diet. I
Can't
know
do it.
that.
That's
That's right.
some words of wisdom
Yeah,
right there. I don't even know who said them, but it's true, isn't it?
that's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of in a very long way around, kind of a nutshell of those kind of three components that your
Yeah.
preparation, and then how you're moving on the mats, what you're leaving in your tank, and then how you're actively recovering. And even
Right.
if maybe not everybody has a power plate or red light or sauna in their place, but maybe going for a walk, or it's kind of
Okay.
harder. I know it's night and it's winter time, so you got to just do a little stretching. Look at some YouTube, some stretches, some jujitsu stretches. The Jujitsu
Yeah.
Flow is a guy that I really like.
Yeah. I'm
But
gonna check him out. Jiu-Jitsu Flow. Yeah, I'm
yeah,
gonna check him out.
he puts up some good videos, but there's lots and lots of stuff, but once again, I mean, I love the art of skill with Professor
Yeah.
Ellis. He's really really very refined and polished and very gentle, and he even does some senior grappler summits. He's put on like two.
Oh wow.
He's got one
Okay.
coming up. They're in San Diego. It's a weekend of rolling. I think it's 40 and plus, not 50 plus. But they do a
Yeah.
social on Saturday night. You have class on Saturday and Sunday. I think it is. It's $4.99 plus you got to get there and travel.
Okay.
So it's any seminar is going to cost, but you're going to be
Oh,
rolling with some really
absolutely.
good. And he is in Roy Dean's lineage, Professor
Oh yeah.
Roy
Yeah.
Dean.
Already. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know him personally, but
No, I don't know him personally. I know of him. I should say that. I don't want to say I
yeah,
know this guy,
yeah. I mean,
but I know of
yeah,
him.
very, yeah. So, but yeah, those are things that I feel are very important for especially us, more vintage gentlemen.
I like that.
Vintage
I like that.
rappers. Uh,
Vintage. Where's my top hat? I had one around here.
yeah,
No.
yeah. Top hat and cane. So, but and the more you put into those, but you come away from there, and I'm a little bit sore, but it's a soreness that I can live with. It works out. That doesn't hinder me too much during the day. I can go about my daily activities, minimize risk of injury because your tendons and ligaments are used
Yeah.
to that flexibility. It's they're used to moving around, and then the very act itself. But I think some guys get on the mat and they just, especially if they go in that fight or flight mode and
Yeah.
they start,
Yeah.
the spaz guy, and you know, but guys that just know one speed in jujitsu, you have to learn. Okay, you've got to tone that down.
Yeah. If you're gonna be around for a while,
Yeah,
because that's gonna burn you out fast.
yeah. So that's what kind of the fun things that that I thought were important for kind of sharing with
Yeah.
your audience and
Yeah.
older guys.
You hit on everything. You really did. You hit on everything, and this has been a joy because you should see my paper. I got so many notes down here.
All right.
I love taking notes on things, man. And
Yes, me
you gave me
too.
some good
I,
pointers,
I
and
did
I
a whole
do.
bunch. I had 2 pages of notes, and I print them, and then I'll just
Do you really?
put on top of them.
That's awesome.
And
That's awesome.
I know that there's the saying I've always remembered that I like. It says when the teacher is ready, the student will appear, and when the student is ready, the
Right.
teacher will appear. And if we can all learn from someone, and we
Absolutely.
teach someone, and
Absolutely.
I've been told, some of the things that I talk about nutrition just around my house and stuff, and I've been told like, you should share this with people. And I'm like, well, I do. And I taught at University of Phoenix for 9 years, and I taught nutritional sciences, and
Wow.
it's really fun teaching. And there's a lot of people that don't know what I know, but I have teachers that know a lot more than I know that I
Right.
constantly, like to learn from. So I'm sure that, people that listen to podcasts, they'll know some of these things, and some of them are like, I knew that, I just didn't think about it.
Didn't think about it. Didn't put it in play.
Yeah, I didn't put it in
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
and maybe this is motivation. Like I heard some motivation, and I think it was finally Jocko on a podcast that got me to go walk through the door and kind of get past that fear. So maybe in you kind of sharing some messages with some older guys, you're breaking down that barrier, that fear of an older
Hope so.
guy, you know, and
Yeah.
you know, to go step foot on the mat. Next, you know, like that Tom Corey, that guy's like 75 and he's a black
Yeah.
belt,
Yeah.
right? Well,
That's
well, I
awesome,
mean, what are you
man.
supposed to do at 75? Just ride around in a scooter? You know
Yeah, that was the plan.
what?
And he said, not today.
Yeah. What if? Why can't we be active in our choices and stuff? I mean,
Yeah.
none of us are getting out of this alive. We might as well have fun and have a better health span, which is means
Yeah.
you know you're healthy throughout your years. You have quality of life. So
Exactly.
I
That's always I believe like the Bible says, I'm not, if you're Christian or not, a believer or not, doesn't matter. But I believe the Bible says 120 years we should have. And I'm like, I want all of them. But I want to be active for 120 years. I don't want you to
I didn't
old
know it
prune
said
sitting
that
around.
in the Bible. That's correct.
Yeah.
That's
120 years, man, we shall have a life. It's pretty cool, man.
I like that one. That's like gonna be my new favorite.
That's right.
So yeah, I always like
Still, we won't be able to make it if we can get choked by all these moms.
yeah,
Man,
Mom Squad.
that's
Put
right,
a
man.
joke on me. They
There you go.
oh,
Well, doctor, I tell you, Will, this has been amazing, brother. I appreciate you taking the time. And I know with your schedule, you're doing all the things out there.
um,
You really, I'm telling you, I'm not joking when I tell you about my pad here being full of notes.
uh,
Really is, man. You have a wealth of knowledge. Hey, before you get out of here, tell everybody how to reach you, phone numbers, social media, the whole thing.
okay, guys, sure. You can reach out to me. We can discuss nutrition, discuss health. I'm on Facebook, William Connor, DC. I'm in Rapid City. I'm YouTube channels, Dr. Will Connor. That's my Instagram, Dr. Will Connor. I like to do some nutritional posts and reels just on little small things during the day, short ones, and I like to speak on podcasts as well, where you get a chance to have an unfiltered conversation. You know,
Right.
you're getting good information, good data. So those are some ways to reach me. My email is drconnor@gmail. That's all spelled out, 2 words, and Connor is Conner, Dr. Connor@gmail. So if anybody's listening, you're welcome to reach out and we can talk about nutrition and being healthy and stay getting on the mats and staying on the mats.
I love it. That's right. Getting on the mat and stand on the mat. Guys, you heard it from the man himself. You heard all the information he gave us. Guys, use some of these things, especially even if you're not in our age bracket. Guys, it never hurts to start this stuff as a younger age. And like Dr. Will was saying that he's been doing this since high school, staying in the gym somewhere.
Yes.
But I tell you, Doc, you've been amazing. I appreciate you more than you know. And brother, we will have to do a part 2 down the road. After you've done your first tournament, I want to get you back to hear about it.
Oh boy, I don't know about that.
Oh, you're gonna
Thanks
do
for the
great, brother.
information, though. Yeah, hey,
Uh,
thanks for giving us a platform and for the the vintage grappler. So I really enjoyed our conversation and thank you guys so much.
you're more than welcome, brother. We'll talk soon. Take care of yourself, my friend.
All right.
All right, brother. Take care. Bye bye.
Oh, man.